adapted to IPv6. So the percentage is growing up, mostly because of the mobile network. They are using IPv6 very much in their network because they have many clients, so many clients. Even the 10/8 is not enough for them to accommodate such a big number of clients nowadays. So that's why the mobile data are using IPv6 pretty well. Also on the broadband side as well, we have a consumer at home. They need more access to the internet, and still in the world, there are people who are not connected to the internet yet. So to provide such people to be able to connect to the internet, IPv6 is mandatory now. We know IPv6, right? It's easy. 128 bit long. The notation is a bit different from IPv4, but basically it's saying the same stuff. Just number. ID, and now most common, not common, recommended one is RSC 7217 and RSC 8981. And then I see most people using Mac on the front row. Mac using these both together. So to have a stable address, they are using 7217, and to have a temporary one to access to the internet, it generates a temporary address for your computer to avoid traceability, right? There are a bunch of methods to generate your interface ID. This is a very old one, UI64 based IID. Still, it's very common. Routers are still using this kind of the method to generate IPv6 address of the interface. Crypt-based stable ones, there are a bunch of different proposals, but each one has an own tolerance for tracing and scanning. So that's why the stronger ones are now recommended to implement or to use for your computers or client. Because if you have a too stable address for your IID, even you are traveling abroad, still someone can trace or someone can tell that access is actually coming from your computer, right? Like you are using a unique ID for your computer. With that, people can tell, oh, okay, this guy is still accessing from this computer. And then, given the privacy concerns, people are now shifting to modern implementation. It's stable, but if you move to another prefix segment, then it will change the address. By using this kind of scheme, you can have your privacy even though you are traveling from one to another location. And also EUI64 based IID is based on your MAC address of your computer, right? So it's based on the MAC address. It's 48-bit long. And each vendor has very specific range of MAC address. Based on that information, maybe attacker or malicious force can ping or point, this is actually this kind of product in use. Based on that information, maybe the attacker can exploit that device. So it's not strong at the moment, and it's not recommended anymore. So from the scanning side, so scanning is very common technique to tell what kind of services are available of the host, right? In the IPv4 world, that was easy because the IP space was very limited. So whole public IP space can be scanned by a single entity. But the IPv6, we have broad space. It's almost not possible to scan whole the network range because too much. So to scan IPv6 internet, the scanner side need to find the IPv6 prefix in use. And then need to find interface ID in use in that prefix. A very complicated task. But there could be some hint in the internet, like if you put your address in a DNS, COD record, or DS record, or MX record, it could be a hint for the scanners. Also, by issuing the TLS certificate, usually it has a host name in the certificate. By using that information, maybe the scanner can obtain an IP address information from the host name. By using that information, maybe the scanner can tell which address is in use in your network. Or if you put an address probe in your network, this could be a hint for the scanner that the prefix is somehow in use. All right. And there is a study, academic study, to estimate what kind of the IPv6 address is in use in particular prefix by using hint information, right? So let's say I have one address here as a list. From that information, the scanner estimate what kind of the address around that address, right? And there are various studies proposal exist in the world. There are a bunch of different style. Some are using the heuristic approach, and the AI is also used nowadays. And then we have a very common and very popular hint list here, IPv6 hint list. So when I submitted this slide, there was 3.6 billion address in the list already. So this is a known exist IPv6 host information. From there, they will generate candidate target for scanning, right? Okay, that's the story behind my talk. Now, I'd like to see what's actually coming to our network. Yeah, we have several implementations, and maybe there are some products to observe certain information, but I want to use open source software. So first one, then the PF, packet filter. It's a packet filter for OpenBSD, and also you can use PF on the FreeBSD system as well. Very solid packet filtering system. And also PF log provided TCP dump friendly logging. I love this. So very, very useful. And if we are Linux users, maybe you can use an NF tables. It's a Linux packet filtering framework. It's providing service for IP tables and other stuff as well. So it's basically most of the Linux support this NF tables. Sorry, there was a problem rendering the document. Okay, can I click OK? It's not my intentional one. Yes, almost there. Let's try again. Yeah. Can you skip one slide? Yep. Rendering. Oh, that's interesting. It's PDF though. So anyway, so I use the PF for my layer 3 incoming packet, and I use the NF table for the layer 2 bridging interface. Ooh. And next page, please. Okay. So the layer 3 observation, it's based on the routing. So on the layer 3, it's basically depending on the routing, right? Any incoming packet can be observed by using a layer 3 observing point. Back, 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 back. Almost there, not too much. Okay, okay, then yeah, you can stop there. And for the layer 2 observation, because you need to monitor the packet by using the layer 2 bridging point. That means the packet only observed when actually packet coming through the bridging interface, right? So if the destination is not exist, then you can monitor just NDP packet, right? Like for IPv4, it's a packet, but a layer 2 address of this address, right? If we don't answer such an layer 2 resolution, then we cannot monitor the actual scanning packet on the layer 2 observation. So if you want to observe every single incoming scanning packet, maybe it's better to monitor on the layer 3 point, vantage point. Otherwise, you will miss the scanning packet toward non-existing address to your network. Okay, but oh, it's slide 17, missing so much, but anyway. So I contain the several configuration example of PF and the NF tables. So you can try at your home a kind of the packet actually coming to your network. And then the summary of the incoming scanning packet is very comprehensive, right? It's not for the single port. It's scanning a whole bunch of different port numbers, similar to IPv4s. So based on the target generation, once they decided to scan this particular address, they scan a whole bunch of ports of the target address. And then I observed some interesting packet as well. There was a very continuous ping packet to the particular host, right? Every 2 seconds, they send a ping or ICMP echo request to the destination from the one of the cloud service in Singapore. Don't know why. Because the destination is Atlas probe and also newly installed Ubuntu host. Very, very interesting because it's a newly installed host. So no one knows there is this address in use or not. But still, the host somehow received an ICMP echo request. Maybe based on the login? I don't know what kind of the observation was done in some network. But then most likely they just execute a ping to the destination because I saw the sequence is continuously incrementing. So it looks like a very, very much like a ping, usual ping. Here are some trend, mostly TCP and some UDP and ICMPv6. Right? It's very, very much similar to IPv4s. But mostly focus on the 8080 or 8081. So kind of the proxy port or web-related services are targeted in this case. And also tunnel is very common as well. IP encap, GRE, IPv6 in IPv6, right? Each targeted host received 127 packets per day. And I found some patterns. So the most popular one is the EUI64 based, because I have several servers on the network that configured with the EUI64 based IID. Based on that information, scanner decided to scan the similar IID in the network because they estimate there are similar product in the same network, right? Yeah, we are doing that because if we put the server in the segment, might be the another server is using the similar interface card that has similar MAC address. Right? Based on that information, the EUI64 based destination is pretty common. Also, some heuristic pattern, colon, something, colon, something, colon 2, right? These are very common address when we configure server manually. And also, in some case, I observed that some random looking lower IIDs. I don't know what's the purpose behind, but it looks like pretty random for me. But there might be some study to generate such a IID from the scanner side. And by observing the layer 3 destinations, I was observing the slash 56, right? Out of this slash 56, only one single 64 was targeted. Other prefixes with no reachability history received almost none. So they studied which prefix is actually in use or not, right? So if we are operating the IPv4 darknet to observe the scanning, the same technique couldn't apply for the IPv6 because they studied which prefix actually in use or not. Just announcing the prefix is not enough for the IPv6 to receive the scanning to the network, right? When EUI64-based IID is detected, similar devices are also scanned, right? As I said, about 60% of scan follow this rule. And then I observed a very, very curious incoming packet as well. I received a packet too big error message from destination. But no, I didn't send any to that address or to the network. It contains original packet as UDP with source and destination port number 22, and saying that the new MTU is 1300. Don't know about the purpose of this error message. Maybe some intelligent way to scan something or to detect some vulnerability. I don't know. But I observed this kind of packet as well. Also, tunnel endpoint probing is very, very common. All right. By sending the encapsulated packet destination, then the destination hopefully decap the packet, then sending back the content of the tunneled packet, right? I know I observed that some scanning packet missing flow level information, but judging this by this alone is very risky. So let's observe first, then think later how to prevent in the future. And these are scanning packets coming from existing scanning entity mostly, because I'm observing the scanning packet from the network, the IPv4 side as well. Usually universities and research entities and also cloud providers as well. So as I said, IPv6 hit rate is a very popular and very common as a seed to generate the targeted host, right? Once you decided to block or not respond to the scanning packet, then the list is updated, right? The entries are removed after a period of time, like a week, 2 weeks. I have a case that some entry for non-existing host may precise for longer, like in a month. But by blocking the whole 64 prefix, I can remove the address as well. So they have some criteria to delist from the list. So to receive the more scanning packet to your network, you need to be popular, right? You need to tell this prefix is in use so that they can aware and that they so that they can send a packet to your network, right? So the being listed in the IPv6 hit list is the key objective, right? I'm a security engineer, one of the security engineers, so I'd like to receive more scanning packet to my network to observe what kind of the activity is going on the internet. Right. It's also a good idea to issue TLS certificate to your host in your segment. By this, people can notice, people are aware, okay, this host in use and the newly issued TLS, that means there's something server there, right? Publishing the CRUD record is not enough. You need to put the URL or something on the internet. Otherwise, people cannot understand or people cannot aware such an address in the internet. Also, by using a EUI64-based IIDs, you can receive more scanning packet to your network. Right. For now. And reverse, how to avoid IPv6 scanning. So let's say if we have a sensitive host facing the internet, right? Then the address shouldn't be listed in the hit list, IPv6 hit list, right? So it's a good idea to segregate or purpose-based segregate your prefix This is for the public server. This is for the more sensitive one. This is only for client. This is accepting the incoming packet, right? And do not respond to the unsolicited probing from external sources, right? Silence helps trigger automatic delisting, right? Also, once you're aware that then you're addressing the hit list, then try to delist by blocking the incoming packet. Or maybe it's time to change your prefix. Because in IPv6, we have much address space, right? And if you need a TLS certificate for your sensitive host, then maybe you need to think about the self-signed or wildcard certificate when feasible to hide your TLS. So IPv6 scanning is already happening in the world. So already you are receiving the scanning packet to your host, right? And the people maintain the reachable IPv6 host list. If you do not want to receive the scanning packet, try to delist, right? And if you have a choice, not use UI64-based IID anymore. And as same as an IPv4, multiple services are now scanned, even in the IPv6 world. So be careful. It's a good idea to have an ACL always. And traditional IPv4 darknet is not a good method for the IPv6 anymore. We need a new style to monitor IPv6 scanning in this world. That's my thought. Thank you very much. Sorry for the inconvenience.